you can only watch it for the first time once. It'll be interesting to see what we catch and what we don't.
Did you ever play the video game Mass Effect?
This is where Babylon 5 is becoming Babylon 5.
That was great. I love that.
100% completely accurate, definitive ranking of Babylon 5.
I love it so much.
We're officially into it, Jeff.
The year is 2025. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the second time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second time. My name is Brent Allen, but Jeff, I just have to stop and say this just real quick.
Okay.
Listening to that intro yet again, I've heard it at least 17 times now.
Right.
I've said a lot of stupid stuff over the course of the last few years on this show. I know I have.
One or two things, maybe?
I've said some stupid stuff. Hopefully I've said some profound stuff as well. But I know I've said a lot of stupid stuff. This is where Babylon 5 becomes Babylon 5 might be one of the dumbest things I've ever said.
And now it's captured in perpetuity.
And you follow it up with, that's so great. I love it.
It says everything you need to know about us and the show.
Right. Anyway, I'm Brent Allen.
And I'm Jeff Akin. Brent and I used to be Star Trek podcasters, and then we watched Babylon 5 for the first time, and everything changed. So now we're watching the series for the second time, watching and paying attention for all those things that we didn't catch or know about the first time around.
And we are still searching for those sci-fi messages that we find in this series. We're going to be asking what this episode's trying to tell us. Is it holding up a mirror to society? Is it giving us hope that things are going to be better in the future? Or is it just telling us how to be better human beings to one another? Now, that being said, Jeff, you and I have already searched out those messages once before. We're doing it again.
Yep.
Because we might pick up on some new messages this time. Or, I don't know, we have the benefit of having had lots of conversations with you great listeners and viewers out there who have like, actually, you're completely wrong. Here's what JMS said the message was. We now get a chance to revisit all of those. That being said, that is a good segue into this little fun-filled tidbit. Everything from this point forward is going to be full of spoilers. Jeff and I can mention anything from any episode anywhere within the entire canon of Babylon 5, the entire universe of Babylon 5 that includes spinoff shows, TVs, or spinoff shows, movies, comic books, novels, I don't know, cave paintings, whatever it is out there, we can talk about it. So this is your spoiler warning. Please be warned, they do abound.
This week, Brent, we're watching Legacies for the second time. And if I remember correctly, I really dug this episode. We had some real kind of big ahas throughout the whole thing. And I think this really like solidified our theory about Sinclair and being a Minbari. We dove into a lot of really cool stuff. I think a lot of our theories kind of had their genesis in this episode. Do you remember what you thought about it the first time?
I remember that this one's about a little girl, maybe being a telepath, and stuff happens, and I don't really remember what. I do remember she goes off to Narn, and we never hear from her again. Overall, my impression is this is a rather inconsequential episode. That's my impression heading into the second watch right now. Not really fully remembering everything that happens. And for our viewers, I have a person looking over my shoulder. I happen to know that this character is introduced in this episode, but only because people have told me. I don't remember him being introduced in this episode.
Okay.
So that being said, I don't really remember what I thought about this episode. I just, I think the first time around, because we were told and we were informed that nothing is wasted and everything comes back around, we put so much emphasis on everything that the things that wound up not coming back around just sort of fizzled for me. And I feel like this is one of those, because we never see this little girl again.
Right.
Like ever. Now, the other guy we do, I just forgot he came in this episode.
He shows up again a couple times. I went back and listened to our first time episode. Do you want to know what you actually thought about this one?
Not really. Yeah, actually I do. Go ahead.
Said, I didn't love this one, but I did like it.
Okay.
That was kind of where you said, I was surprised when I heard this. I said, I did not like this episode and I found it difficult to watch. I said that if I had read it.
But you remember liking it though.
Totally. Yeah.
You remember liking it, but what you said was you didn't like it.
It's so wild how just time does that. But
is it because we meet Naroon in this episode, and Naroon, I think he's only in like another like 3 or 4 episodes, but they are very consequential, pivotal episodes for the series.
Yeah, I thought that like if you read this like a novel, it would have been incredible, but the execution just didn't work to the point. I said that Naroon came from the Ben Zane School of Acting.
No,
I did.
Jeff, your comeuppance comes now.
I know.
Eat some crow, bro.
Oh my gosh. This was a really big and important episode for us. It was between Eyes and this one that one of our listeners reached out to you and gave us the story of Michael O'Hare. So we talked about that for a little while, and at that point kind of gave ourselves the rule that we will continue to be critical of Sinclair, but we'll be hands off on Michael O'Hare moving forward.
Sure.
Chrysalis gets mentioned in this one.
Okay.
And your theory went on. He's related to Branmer and Chrysalis. In fact, we started kind of riffing on the whole thing. My thought was that Delenn, Satai Delenn, is on Babylon 5 for the specific purpose to Chrysalis Sinclair so that he can emerge as a Minbari god. Because we figured this Chrysalis thing, you said it probably turns you from human to Minbari or Minbari to human or something like that. You did say that. I said that? Yes.
Whoa, are you serious?
Like this part of our episode was so cool to listen to because we're just like, it all started with you being like, maybe like the whole cool thing is Branmer and Sinclair, like the 2 people like kind of pulling the strings at the back of the line are like brothers, or something. And that's what happened, where they pulled him on board. And it wasn't that they realized like his soul was whatever. They realized this dude's Minbari and he's related to General Branmer. And so it was basically he would emerge as a Minbari god.
I do somewhat remember thinking that if Sinclair were to change into a Minbari, and maybe even you said this, Jeff, and it might have been later on down the line, that he would be Valen reborn.
Yes. Yeah.
That it was like it's the resurrection of their old god, and it's going to come through the person of Sinclair, who happens to have some sort of Minbari thing in him, So
yeah, if I remember right, I went to he has a Minbari soul. He has the soul of Valen, and then that kind of evolved. Like it's just for me, it's just fun watching this prediction kind of like grow for us. Like we learn a little bit more and we piece it all together.
That's fun.
But I listened to the episode. You dove into the dark nethers of the internet to find things that JMS has said about this episode. What did you find?
Well, I found a couple of little fun stories, little fun facts about the episode, but I also found some answers to some questions that we probably already know and figure out.
Okay.
But these are things directly from his mouth that we can now definitively say this is what it is, and not just here's what Brent and Jeff kind of figured out. All right. So a few things. One, this is another DC Fontana joint.
Yeah.
Right. Our last one was what, War Prayer, I believe it was.
Yes.
Yeah. JMS says that he actually thinks that this one was a better episode or a better script than War Prayer because DC Fontana had a chance to get to know the characters a lot better by this point.
Makes sense.
Also, this was the only first season script that was developed outside of the Babylon 5 offices, which might kind of account for how I think like that. I think that's my feeling about this episode is so much of it just feels inconsequential. Like it's an episode. Okay, Naroon's here, but still, it mostly feels inconsequential, and that might kind of account for it because it's not whatever. But here's what JMS says about it: it was developed outside the office in the sense of it being a freelance effort.
Okay.
By DC Fontana, it was completely freelance. Everything else throughout the rest of the season was either an assigned premise or it was done in-house by staff. Right. So here's your premise. Go.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Originally. Oh no. So anyway, yeah. So. This was just DC Fontana going, hey, I have an idea for a story. Let's go. I know some people. Cool. So anyway, you do what now?
I like that.
Yeah, I liked it too. This episode was actually much like Eyes. I feel like so many episodes this season we've heard was originally meant to be broadcast later. This was another one that was meant to be broadcast much later during the season, which is weird because there's not a whole lot much later left.
Kind of at the end.
Yeah, we're kind of getting there. But the reason he wanted to do this is because he didn't want 2 Psycor episodes back to back, because we just had Psycor last week with Eyes, and then he had this one. And he said there's also one little detail that will become clearer after Babylon Squared airs. It would have been better if this episode had followed Babylon Squared, but then again, these episodes are made to be watched in just about any order, so it's actually okay in the long run. That being said, and I bring this up, Jeff, I have no idea what detail he's talking about.
Yeah.
I really want to look. Don't you tell us, Council Chambers. Do not drop it in the chat. Put us back in the bubble, okay?
Yeah, let us watch this and see.
Let us watch it and see if Jeff and I can figure it out. But here's the other thing. If we get past it, give us 30 to 60 seconds to call it out. And if we don't, then you can drop that in the thing. If you know what you're talking about, don't you dare drop it.
Right.
Don't you dare drop it. Let us get there. See if we catch it. And if we don't, then you can tell us, okay? But I'm really curious as to what that is. JMS says this. Generally, the religious caste takes precedence over the warrior caste.
Okay.
So even though they're all equal on the Great Council, even though they're whatever, they still tend to take precedence over the warrior caste. Speaking on Minbari culture, and this will be really important and will really play itself out next week when we get to Voice in the Wilderness. From the cradle to the grave, the Minbari are taught that there is no greater goal, no nobler thing to do than you can serve.
Mm-hmm.
They are raised to be totally self-sacrificing. The only exception is when somebody in the religious caste believes he or she has received a calling, which, if sincerely felt, cannot be contravened, since especially also usually involves serving.
Okay, like it serves a higher purpose.
Yeah, it serves something or serves someone, so they get to go do that. But only those in the religious caste, he says. So for a Minbari telepath, this is the means by which they serve, is by being a telepath, right? And therefore, the telepaths are given the greatest respect, because they hold these people in super high honor. It never even occurs to them to do otherwise, which we might object that the Minbari are necessarily that, altruistic.
There's a difference between a cultural standard and a cultural norm, right? And so this is what they say, right? Yeah. And then we see more of the reality.
Well, here's the thing, not to jump our episodes too much, but I will tell you, I know next week is Voice in the Wilderness, and one scene sticks in my mind, burns in my mind from that episode, and it's where Draw is sitting on the couch with Delenn, and he says something to the effect of, people in Minbar are not behaving like Minbari anymore.
Yeah, the kids are.
Yeah, they're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. So this is the culture, and here's the underling, the youngins, bucking that culture and throwing it off. And really, I mean, that's because it kind of sounds like it's, oh, get off my lawn, right, to actually a very big lament, like, no, like, this is not okay where you guys are going.
It's falling apart. I like though that he brings up the religious thing. We had questions on our first watch, because there's a moment in this where Naroon just like defers to Delenn. And we asked the question, is that because she's religious caste? Like, and we thought it was because she was on the Great Council, because that was only religious caste, is what we thought.
And he goes on to say that lately there has been a bit of a change brewing. They're becoming more self-involved, putting their own needs above others. And that's begun creeping into the Minbari race. And they're not really happy about it. So, there you go. He says this, regarding Legacies, there's one brief blip in there that we're going to see again. I'm not sure if you'd call it a clue, but it's certainly a cue, a hint of something to come. You won't have to wonder what it is. It's going to be shown in a flashback in that particular yet to air episode. I have no idea what he's talking about here.
My gut tells me it's, Sinclair, you speak like a Minbari.
Oh yeah.
That's my guess, because that does show up in a flashback.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with that. Let's keep an eye out, see if we notice anything else it could be.
Yeah.
But that is going to be your leading contender right there. That's going to be it. I do have one or two other things, but we're going to save those for the run of the episode, Jeff.
Sounds good. Well, then let's watch that episode. What do you say?
Let's do it. I love that.
I do too. I'm excited to watch this one. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Brent and I are about to watch the episode right here, right now, with you. If you're on our YouTube channel, you're going to see kind of the edited version for the reaction stuff that happens on YouTube. If you want to see the full and unedited version of this, head over to our Patreon page at patreon.com/Babylon5 First. That's the number 5 and the word first.
And if you're listening to the audio on a podcasting app, let's meet you there on the other side, where we will share our thoughts and talk about the messages that we uncover. So Jeff, with that, let's go watch this episode.
When the greatest warrior leader the Minbari ever had dies suddenly while on a diplomatic tour, it's natural they'd want to honor him on his journey home.
The way they're doing it, displaying his body to every Minbari from the Euphrates sect to their home planet.
Ah, come on, that's a...
Sounds like war drums to me.
No.
Minbari vessel coming through.
No, that's a cultural thing.
And it's not even a cultural thing. That's historical. Well, it is cultural, but even on Earth, they used to do that. Come see the remains of this great
Well, I mean,
hero.
the Pope just died here.
A
And
war
they're having
cruiser.
big public viewings and stuff like that. The
Never
Queen
thought
died
I'd
a couple
see one
years
of
ago,
those
same
again.
thing.
Stay in formation. It might be up. Oh my God. It's a trap, Mitchell!
Okay, I forgot about the ejection pods
They're still
on
big enough.
Starfury. That looked awesome. Yeah, you just blast away from the thing as it's going apart.
I really like how the ship comes through and it prompts that flashback. Like, it's been 10, 11 years, but like, he was dead, in that moment. He's like, it's over for me when he saw that ship.
I got to tell you, I don't know. It's playing in my head. The physics of that are really pounding into my head right now. Like you have the thing ejecting forward, which is putting a reverse angle on the pieces, so it's shooting them backwards, but they're also going outwards. So like just from a pure safety standpoint, you're pushing forward while these two things are pushing backwards and out, like to keep debris from hitting you and stuff. Like it's just a very intelligent way to be.
Everything about the Star Furies.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So smart.
Thief, stop! Thief, stop her!
Oh, Vaughn
Actually,
was...
I always felt like the 90s, like the clothing styles and the hair choices are the most, like they've lasted for the long, like 80s hairstyles are 80s.
Yeah.
70s are 70s, 60s are 60s. 90s kind of,
I wear this in the 90s. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I like how Talia like immediately knew it was up. We got Corwin!
Coming in with her gun ports open. She's armed for a fight.
Is that Corwin?
That's Corwin, yeah.
That did not look like Corwin.
Okay.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. It's okay. It's okay.
So
I'm sure it was. I'm just the angle on it and the way he was.
they're flying in with their gun ports open. Hey Brent, do you know what happened the last time a Minbari ship flew in with its gun ports open?
Yeah, King Arthur came back from Avalon and jacked some stuff up with Jakar and then had a meltdown.
I'm just like, what are they thinking? Hey, we're here putting this guy on display.
Yeah.
Here's an
but
Earth
the
Force
thing,
station.
No, but here's the thing. This is the warrior cast. This is not religious cast. This is not whatever. This is warrior cast toting this dude's body around. They're going to come the way they come no matter what.
Yeah, you're right. You're probably right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are not going to be respecters of cultures and other ways of doing things.
Well, and they're probably just like, it'd be great if this started the war again.
They would love to have it restarted. And I think it's maybe in a future episode that JMS talks about how the warrior cast was not a fan of calling off the
Yeah.
So yeah, this has started last time. Let's see what happens. They want to get rough. We'll get rough right back. We're ready.
Sorry, there has been a misunderstanding.
Yeah, you're a little late there, Ambassador.
If you will scan the ship, you will find that the guns are not active.
Oh, she is telling them.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
No targeting
Now.
sensors detected.
It is only a symbol to show they carry the body of a great warrior leader.
That is not what.
Do you not
No,
also have something in your
no,
military tradition?
no. That is not true.
Right?
That is false information right there. I am offended. No.
You're a liar, Delenn.
Liar. It is a symbol because it's how Minbari this is what we're told, right? I'm not making this up in my head, right?
Yeah.
You guys in council chambers, correct me if I'm wrong. We were told in that episode, this is how they greet non-enemies and show that they don't have any intentions. So yeah, retconned it all the way through. She's wrong. Who says Minbari don't ever lie? Delenn's lying through her blue little thing on her forehead.
If her telepathic abilities just woke up and the Psy-Corps doesn't know about her yet.
Well, there's got to be some genetic record somewhere. As soon as we find out who she is, I'll arrange for her transport to Earth.
So in the Psy-Corps trilogy, the first book where they really talk about the formation of Psy-Corps and how it came, they talk about how there's a genetic marker in people with telepathic abilities. There are some that don't have the marker, but most do, and they actually force testing in schools and other public places. But it doesn't always pop positive, or it's not a flawless test. So it's reasonable to think that she's been through some tests before. And just maybe it didn't pop up for her, but
She had a false negative or whatever.
yeah, something like that. But what, where Talia is kind of going right now is like, literally at this moment, you're given the three choices.
Psy-Corps rep can meet her there.
Negative. She was committing a theft when she went down. She's under station jurisdiction until that is dealt with. She's not going anywhere.
You're not being reasonable.
Fine, it's my call and I'm making it.
Excuse me.
I'm not reasonable.
Until this is
But I'm
resolved,
still
she
my
is
call.
Still my patient, and I'm ordering you out, both of you.
He's like, my medical stuff is bigger than either your stuff.
I really like the way Franklin handled that.
Yeah.
And you know, I did we have this conversation the first time around, Jeff, where the way these three respond to her, particularly even Talia and Ivanova, like Ivanova's like, no, I'm going to throw her in jail because she was doing this solely to keep her away from the Psi Corps.
Yep. Yeah.
She could care less about whether or not she was stealing something and want to throw her in jail. She's just trying to protect her by keeping her away from Psi Corps.
We're talking about how it's petty shoplifting, and this is just personal. This is all personal. Ivanova's trying to battle her own demon through this kid.
Yeah, but she's also wanting to protect this kid from what she knows, and you know, it might be her own demon, but it, you know, once you start down that path, you can't go back. So you better make sure you're heading down that path, you know, where you're going. So
this is the same pathway Emperor Turhan walks
Ambassador
through.
Delenn.
I think.
Alit Naroon.
Alit Naroon.
I welcome
okay,
you
is
on
Elite
behalf
first
of
name
all
or is it a
Minbari on
title
this
like?
station. It is an unhappy.
I think we
journey
decided
to
it was
travel.
a rank.
Warrior, there
or
is
title.
no other end to the journey.
This is Commander Sinclair, Lieutenant Commander Ivanova, and Chief of Security Garibaldi. The commander has arranged the place in which the Shy Elite may lie in state.
There you go, Shy Elite.
It is a worthy thing to honor the Shy Elite.
The Shy Halud.
And worthy that you would honor the importance of this place with his presence.
Mr. Garibaldi and I will
Oh,
escort
man.
you
No, did you see that?
Yes.
Just from an acting standpoint, look at it. Watch his eye.
Yeah. Oh, it's
like his
good.
eye flinches when he says that. Like, watch his eye.
Mr. Garibaldi and I will escort you to the area we've set aside.
Good. So good.
This way, please.
I'm eating my hat saying he went to the Benzane School
He
of
was-
Acting.
Yes, he was biting the inside of his lips so hard in that moment. Just,
The arrangements are most satisfactory, Commander.
do you think
Tell me,
Naroon
who is
knows
Elite
that
Naroon?
Sinclair was the one they brought
Bremer's
aboard?
aide, an executive officer.
The Great Council?
Served as
I
Commander
do.
He's
for
not
more
Great
than
Council.
15 years.
But he's
Well-
not Great Council.
So I don't. I'm reading To Dream in the City of Sorrows, which is a book that is considered not only canon but actually part of the story, and it basically tells the story of Sinclair between the end of this and War Without End. It has a flashback to him on the ship when he gets at the Battle of the Line, and he's wondering, you know, when Delenn comes into his face, he's like, I don't know who it is. Is it Renmer? Is it somebody? Is it Naroon? Is it like and Naroon is one of the ones he names. I know later we see Naroon on the Great Council, but part of me is like, is he now in that? I don't know if he is or not, but yeah, he's definitely has feelings.
You don't like it, do you?
Suzanne says, Jeff, that
My preferences were not
Naroon
for
actually
discussion.
replaces Delenn on the Great Council when she leaves. And when he gets on the Great Council, that's when he finds out that Sinclair was the one they brought on board.
Okay.
And he says that he couldn't believe it when he found out.
Well, she's coming around.
The sooner you're with the Psi Corps, the better you'll be able to deal with this gift of yours.
We still haven't dealt with the charges against her. Let's take care of one crisis at a time, shall we? Keep me informed of her condition.
Lieutenant Commander.
Do you think Elisa is hearing her real intentions?
Yeah, I mean,
She's not leaving here, Miss Winters. Not as long as I have anything to say about it.
unless Ivanova started blocking, but she looks like she's leaking everything she's thinking right now.
Yeah, Ivanova doesn't look like she's controlling herself very well there.
Access ports. Make sure
You don't have to be a
check.
telepath to hear the tone in her voice.
Elite. I trust you found everything to your satisfaction?
I have arranged for
He
Minbari
clearly has
guards
not
on the
figured
Shy
out the
Elite's body
Naroon
during the night.
character
Neither you
to where
nor
he
any of
does.
your officers will interfere with them.
Oh, now just a minute.
Mr. Garibaldi.
Yeah.
Diplomacy.
This was
This
the
would actually be
greatest
better
of
if we
us.
physically saw the drum.
Warrior,
Yeah.
Like if they were actually playing
leader,
it there.
the hero of the line.
I like his outfit.
He fought with honor,
Dude, do you notice his chest
bravery,
piece?
and with vision.
Isn't that from Jewish culture? Except it has way too many
belongs to
stones
the
on it.
ages.
Never mind.
Folding the silk flag.
The triangle flag, Jeff. The flag itself was a triangle.
Of course it was.
Right. But just, I mean,
Yeah.
as we note triangles in Minbari culture, I would never have noticed that was necessarily a.
It'd be cool if like
triangle.
even their paper were triangles and stuff.
Oh, body's gone.
Where is the Shy Elite?
3 days later, there was no body.
Are you threatening to make war over this?
That is how the last one started, with the murder of Ducat.
That was a tragic accident.
And if this is another such accident,
If I may, no matter how great the loss, it is
Did he
not
just call
our
the
way
murder
to
of
let a
Ducat?
single clan dictate Minbari policy.
It's interesting they refer to that as a murder.
Yeah.
A murder has a connotation of I as a person took out that person there.
Mm-hmm.
aimed and directed towards that person.
Intent, motive.
That's not what happened. They fired on the ship, and he, among with other folks, died. They were not aiming for him. You might be able to argue that it's technically a murder, but that's not a murder. That's not an assassination.
We know that. A warrior caste guy who wants to restart the war needs a reason to restart the war. And these people murdered our leader. That's a reason to restart the war. And you say that enough, right? Every time you talk about Ducati, he was murdered. He was murdered.
Or if he's got his little news echo chamber and that's how they're always playing it.
Gonna believe it.
That's how they're gonna see it. Yeah.
This material is from the burial robes of an esteemed Minbari leader. His body's been stolen.
If I remember right, Naroon is doing this, right?
Doing.
Naroon has stolen the body.
As a courtesy to our Minbari
Is it
friends.
Delenn?
Which is why I was like, pay attention to how she's reacting to this.
I'm afraid
right
I have
now.
no choice. I'll have to make a deeper inquiry.
If your man Garibaldi cannot handle the assignment, he must be replaced by someone who can.
Mr. Garibaldi will do his job. Search of all public areas and quarters had to be done first. Now they're looking at the station structure itself. If
So
security has to
imagine
take
John
this place
Vickery
apart and
doing
put it back
Benzane.
together again, they will.
Mr. Garibaldi fails.
I mean, he's
in
still
his
chewing
search.
every
I may
line,
find it
but he's
necessary
doing it
to
so
have
much
my
better.
ship assume the job of taking this station apart.
I don't take kindly to threats.
He's not in his place.
Threats, Commander.
Yeah.
Take a good look at their homeworld, Elisa. The Centauri
That's
occupation left it bleak, barren,
fair.
almost dead. The Narns are interested only in conquering other races now. They make slaves of their victims, and despite Natat's claims, they'll probably try and make one of you as well. A little like the Psycho.
I do appreciate how
Lieutenant Commander,
Ivana
granted
was
you
like
have your problems
wanting her to
with
make an
Psycho,
informed
and I
decision.
sympathize with your feelings,
Know
but I
about
won't have
Psycho.
you
Know
poisoning
about the
her.
Narn.
Like the facts about the lives they've ruined, the people they destroyed.
And the good they've done. Just because your
So
mother
this girl
didn't
came aboard when
cooperate.
she was
Like your
12,
friend
and that was like a
Ironheart.
year or two ago, right? Maybe 3 years ago. So she's
Stop it! Stop it!
13,
both of
14,
you.
15 years old.
Yeah.
You keep arguing.
You're going to
over
allow
what
a
you
13,
want.
14,
You don't care
15
about
year old
what
to
I
go off
want.
to
You
another
don't even
world
ask.
on her own to give genetic material twice a month?
All right, Elisa.
Better than
What do you
Psychor,
want?
apparently.
To know the truth about all my choices. Is that all of it? Narn, Psychor, the drugs?
Oh, prison.
Yeah.
Prison's an option, too.
No. There's one more possibility you should consider.
See, I don't know that I would look
you
and
for
see what
taking the time
Delenn's
to see
doing
us.
and consider that as building something.
So, Elisa, you
No?
wish to know about
Well,
Veronica?
she had her hands around a thing.
I just
Like,
want to see all the cards on
really
the
know what
table
that
before I
is.
make a bet.
It looks like she's doing a House
I
of
was not
Cards.
aware there
kind
was
of
a game
thing.
involved.
yeah.
It's just an expression of speech ambassador.
Honestly, I wouldn't even pay attention to what she's doing.
Perhaps
Yeah,
we should
it's
start
very
with some
just-
general information first.
We didn't.
For the
first
Minbari,
time.
psi ability is considered a gift. We do not all think the same way.
Dude, they're ganking them with those triluminaries, man.
I think we should go.
Delenn's a little shady, man. Just call her for what she... Look, I love Delenn. I love Delenn. She's a little shady sometimes.
Is there something going on around here by the dead body?
Yes, why?
I saw something about the body. I know what happened to it.
Mr. Garibaldi, I need to see you immediately.
If it's boned, that has to hurt. I mean, have you
A
ever
lot.
punched somebody in the face before?
Yes.
Like,
What the-
my God, it hurts so bad. And then to have like a whole other thing on there.
Well, it's not bad when that thing's foamy.
That.
It's made of foam.
So Council Chambers is telling us to stop because we said, hey, if we miss the thing,
Okay.
right? Like you mentioned that one, why don't you remind us of why we asked them to stop us and then they can tell us what's up.
So JMS said that that one of the reasons that this episode should have been aired after Babylon 5 is because of one little thing that would have been better following Babylon 5.
Babylon Squared.
Babylon Squared, that's what I meant. Babylon Squared. Okay. Was it because they came at him with the triluminaries?
They're saying,
is that it?
They're saying that you said it. So I mean, it's that or it's Delenn's
They're
shady.
janking people with the triluminaries? Or just Delenn is shady?
Because I could tell you that. Like,
Did we see the triluminaries in Babylon Squared?
gets
Delenn gets the triluminary in Babylon Squared. Okay.
I'm not missing anything having watched it right here. Because what I know, having watched,
Well, JMS said that. He's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's really okay.
like in the Sky Full of Stars, we saw like a triangle thing. We've seen
Uh-huh.
triangle, and here they have a triangle. Cool, all tracks.
yeah.
So, but I get that from JMS. Like, doesn't matter.
So if Delenn gets the triluminary in the next episode or a couple episodes from now, and then she gave it to this person to go in and gank somebody with it. Although that seems really out of character, I think might be the right word for what a Triuminary does. Like a Triuminary can blast people?
Well, I think a Triuminary is a plot device.
Yeah. Yeah. Have we ever talked about what a Triuminary is made out of and why it responds to people with Sinclair's DNA in them?
I don't think we have.
So I think this is 100% a fan theory, or it's something that's been out there. But what they're saying it is was remember the hand communicators are molecularly bonded to a person's code.
It's pieces of his link.
And so the Triluminaries are actually made out of pieces of Jeffrey Sinclair's thing, and they're just literally wrapped around a triangle, like with wire. Like that's all it is, just hanging out. Like it's little bits of his circuit. And if you look at it, it looks like just a little chunk of a circuit board right there in the center. That's all it looks like.
I actually really like Suzanne's theory that it's made of naquita.
Even better.
Yeah.
Are you sure it's naquita and not Nequadria?
Nequadria, yeah. That'd be dangerous stuff.
Yeah. So just saying that Triluminary. Now, what does that Triluminary have to do with the chrysalis device and turning you from one into the other, or shooting people? Like, I totally get why it would glow if it was up against somebody with Valen's DNA. Totally get that.
Well, it's kind of like in Star Trek where they're like, hey, we need a shield and we don't have one. Hold on, let me take my communicator off and then rewire it. Boom, now I have a personal shield.
Right.
Why not?
Yeah.
Hell do you think you're doing?
Everywhere has been searched, but here...
Naroon hiding out in his room to jump him.
I searched these quarters personally with Ambassador Delenn observing.
Escort the elite back to his quarters. We'll continue the search without his help.
You know, I like how Sinclair just lets that go.
Yeah. I brought someone to see you, Lisa Belden. I think you better talk to her, Jim.
No, don't. No. He does not make good decisions for children.
Miss Belden?
When I was talking to Ambassador Delenn, she covered it up real quick, but Commander, she knows who took that Minbari body, and she knows where it is.
I can tell you where it's not. That lady's acting school, because she never went.
Oh.
Ambassador.
Good evening, Commander. Mr. Garibaldi.
Shipping something home, Ambassador?
Just some personal possessions.
Like, this body, perhaps?
Dude, if that was the dude's, like, hand...
that'd be messed up.
I think we need to talk.
Okay, what is that thing?
It's an urn. Speaking of which, you know how the Undertaker...
Is that like a canopic jar?
Yeah, the Undertaker makes money? He earns
Quite a trick.
Wow.
Stealing Branmer's body and cremating it without anyone noticing it.
Told me that when he was called, he wanted only a simple funeral. He did not want to be a monument to war. Naroon and the Star Riders have subverted his wishes with this display of his body. I decided to carry out Branmer's wishes. His ashes are to be sent home.
So she took his body.
Yeah, and if I can put this in a slightly different set of words, she had an emotional reaction to what was going on and made a decision based solely on her feelings in the moment, not considering anything or anyone else around her. Gosh, I sure hope that doesn't happen again.
That sounds pretty on brand.
You've put us in a difficult situation.
It is more difficult than you suspect. You see, a rift between the religious and
before we get into this, she makes a decision on her own based on what she says his wishes were. This is a world according to Delenn. There's nothing saying that's actually what it was. Then the minute people are like, where's his body? She's like, humans, them, and how dare they do this? You've dishonored the Minbari and the warrior caste. She didn't hesitate to throw Sinclair, Garibaldi, everybody straight under the bus and was holding on. And even now she's like, I'm right. Sinclair is such a better man than I would ever be, because I would just be like, listen, you're honoring, why throw us under the bus? There are big stakes here. Naroon's not going to start a war with the religious caste. He's going to start a war with Earth.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that independence and free thought of Delenn is part of what made Dukat want her?
Yeah, she thinks differently than others. I think absolutely.
Yeah. Not that she thinks as like the preeminent Minbari, or she embodies all things Minbari, but she has independent thought, and she is not afraid to act on her independent thought, which is something we saw when she was just a little acolyte or whatever. And he noticed that in her, that this thing, which it sounds like you're decrying right now, Jeff, actually is the thing that brought her into this.
There's
into
a
this
difference
piece of
between
power.
thinking differently and approaching things differently than actively letting other people take the blame for things that you're claiming were important to have happened, where there is no evidence that it was actually important to it to have happened. I'm honoring his wishes. Naroon says, you guys did it. Yeah, you dishonor the warrior caste, and they don't mess around. How dare? If it wasn't for that.
Well, but she also said she was going to come back and explain it as a ascension of his body and that kind of stuff. And that she couldn't just jump to that straight away. She had to like let it mellow for a little bit.
Like Naroon's hiding out in Sinclair's room to fight him like a 13-year-old. Like, and maybe if it isn't okay to say, it is wildly immature and done very poorly and literally putting the galaxy at risk. Again.
That is literally, I mean, that's what Delenn does, is she bucks like, hey, don't go do this thing. Yeah, screw you. I'm going to do it anyway. Why? Because it's the calling of my heart. Don't go through the chrysalis thing. Nope, I'm going to do it anyway to prove the prophecy right. And in doing so, prove that the prophecy was about me. And how many times did you say something about that, like that, regarding her and Sheridan, particularly in the later seasons? Like, it's on brand for who Delenn is. It doesn't always make her wrong, though, you know, because what does Delenn do? Delenn does push things forward. Delenn does enact positive change. You know, I mean, my God, she winds up reforming the entire Great Council weighted towards the worker class.
Well, she does.
Good way. So
because of Naroon.
Well, I mean, in Texas Anla'Shok in our comment says, or is it because of Kosh?
Yeah.
And now that's the other thing, is she's always had information that nobody else has had. And that includes the rest of the Great Council and Naroon. And, you know, and if you think that Kosh is a good guy, then hey, if you think he's a bad guy.
Well, I don't think he's a good or a bad guy. I think he's an ordered guy compared to a chaotic guy. But yeah.
So is Delenn chaotic good? She's chaotic good. How do you put her? Chaotic neutral, chaotic bad, like or chaotic evil. She's got to be chaotic.
She's not chaotic.
That's
evil.
what she is, right?
Not at all.
No.
And I would lean chaotic. I lean between good and neutral. I know there's like more complex alignment charts out there. And I would say chaotic good if it weren't for the times, like when Sheridan comes back from the dead and she goes out of her way to go be a part of the spotlight too. Look at me. Look what I'm doing. There are multiple times that she
read that way different.
Multiple times she jumps in to try and hog other spotlight. She does.
Diplomacy, Jeff. Diplomacy.
When we wrapped the series up, what was one of my unpopular opinions? That she was the worst. But, and that's fair. People in the chat, Texas, saying that you'll never believe that. That's okay. You don't have to believe it. I mean, it's true, but you don't have to. No, I'm just.
You guys can send in your emails to Jeff at.
No, but it's an opinion. It's my interpretation of the whole thing, and I see it multiple times where she observes, and the way they do the cinematography too is her apart from a thing that's happening, seeing it happen, and then hurrying to go be a part of it, and not necessarily in a meaningful or value added way. Very much in a me too kind of a way.
I would think more in a self-serving kind of way. Like, I don't care what's going on. I'm going in there for, like, that's my dude and I need to go see him. I don't care.
That's a very romantic way of looking at it.
But
I'm not much of a romantic guy. I am actually. That's true, but it's not when I watch TV. I guess. All right. Yeah.
All right, speaking of watching TV, let's get back.
It's regrettable, but I see no choice. We will tell him the truth, but I will tell him my way.
I'm going to tell him a story, and whether you stick to it or not,
You had no right to
won't
touch
hesitate
the
to throw
Shire
you
of
under the
body.
bus.
He was warrior caste by right of his father.
And religious caste by right of his mother. You know which takes precedence.
Star Riders will protest this. I will lead the fight myself.
You will do nothing. You will support my statement that his body was transformed. That is a direct order from the Great Council. You will obey it.
Yep.
As you did our order to end the war. Do you understand?
Yes, I understand.
Naroon
Delenn.
doing this
Is
to
there
bring all
anything
attention
else
to
you
him,
want of me?
doing the thing I was just talking
You
about.
will apologize
I'm gonna,
to Commander Sinclair.
In fact,
for your behavior.
I want.
Well, okay. So the one thing that I will give you that might lend a little bit to your theory here about even Naroon being like, oh, look at me, is Delenn's punishment for him was he had to go to Sinclair and apologize privately. You don't get to do it in front of other people, so you're gonna have to do it, but you have to do it so you don't get any credit for it.
And
Maybe
to
he got some
reword what I was
mindset.
saying also, Naroon did what he thought was right by the warrior caste, followed the calling of his heart, as it were. Not his soul, because his soul we learn later is religious, but followed the calling of his heart to do this thing, to parade this guy around. Was it the right thing?
So here's a question. That thing with him at the end, is that because of his time spent here with Branmer?
Ooh, oh my gosh, that's like what's happening right here, right now, planted the seed for him. Or there was the seed already, but watered the seed that grew over to... That's
to actually really want to be and be called for religious caste, not warrior caste.
There is no higher testimony to a warrior's courage and skill than praise from his enemy. I would like to send that message to your homeworld in a personal message. A testimony to the Shyalit.
You will do this as an Earth Force officer.
And as commander of Babylon 5.
That is a great kindness.
We fought long enough. Maybe it's time we started talking with one another.
Come on.
Branmer's life was more significant than his battles. Let the warrior caste praise his courage in war. And let the rest praise him for what he truly was, a man of peace.
You talk like a Minbari.
Oh, it's so big.
Perhaps there was some small wisdom in letting all species survive.
We like
to our earlier point that we have made so many times, Naroon showing up and giving a heartfelt, honest apology led to this. How beautiful.
Yeah.
So good.
So good, man. So good.
And that right there. Oh.
I'm glad that Naroon knows how to, shake a hand.
Doesn't hate human culture that much.
Do you think Talia and Ivanova would be really teed off if I decided to go with the Minbari?
In order? Yes and no. I don't need to be a telepath to figure that one out.
Alisa could become an instrument of great communication.
Such
between humans
potential.
and Minbari. We suffer a lack there.
I can't wait to see this play out over the series.
The future in exchange for the past.
The future in exchange for the past. This is an excellent Sinclair episode.
Could be a big help with the Minbari.
She goes to live with the Minbari?
Who knows? Maybe you'll learn a trick or two. And
I could have sworn she went to go live with the Narn.
Thanks. I might do that.
Everything in my memory says she went to go live with the Narn.
I
You want
will.
it because you remembered Natoff.
I won't forget you.
But yet, once again, we never
even
see or hear from
mentioned.
her again. Not even mentioned.
I think I want to go the rest of the way
I'm so
by
brave I
myself.
can walk 20 yards.
Goodbye.
Earlier in the chat, someone brought this up. I forget who it was, but it was so brilliant. That what actually probably happened is she got redirected from Minbar, ended up on part of the Narn resistance with King Arthur.
Or she joins the
She
Rangers.
becomes a ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She was a part of the Underground Railroad with Abraham Lincoln.
All right. I like that.
I think she'll be all right.
I think so too.
Olia's got like a new haircut, man.
Are you busy right now?
All right,
no.
let's read into
Not
it.
right now.
Let's read in all the sexual
I
tension
wasn't
here, Jeff.
exactly polite to you over this whole thing.
Yeah, well, we both got a little hot, I think.
How about if I buy you a drink to make up for it?
Okay. But I go on duty in a half an hour, so it's gonna have to be coffee.
I see the eyes linger. That was a drink. That's what that was.
Hi.
Hi. Elisa.
A little bit there.
There's something I've been wondering. When you
this is
looked into
big.
Delenn's mind, did you see anything else? Anything unusual?
There was one other thing. A word. Chrysalis. I don't know what it means.
It's a cocoon, I think.
Cocoon? That's weird. She shut down real fast when I touched that. Why would she want to hide that?
Minbari flyer
I don't know.
Captain is now boarding in docking bay 4.
Good luck.
Paul asked a great question. Do we really regret not seeing her again? No. But there's great story potential here.
Well, I mean, in terms of nothing wasted. Hi, Naroon. She winds up marrying Naroon's son. Anyway.
So Brent, that's Legacies for the second time. Anything jump out for you want to talk about? Any messages that you got this time around that we might not have talked about last time?
Man, I really thought she went with the
Yeah?
Narn and not the Minbari.
I feel like
Yeah,
you
it's
thought it
bugging
was
me.
the Minbari because we've talked about her before.
Yeah.
Just wishful thinking when Natoth came on screen. You're like, God, she should go. It'd be so good.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure the first time around we talked about, hey, we've fought each other long enough.
Yep.
Let's start talking.
There it is, silver platter.
That's the whole thing. That's what the whole episode becomes about, right? Like, when Naroon first comes on the station, he's still very oppositional to Sinclair and everything having to do there. You know, we even posit that they're trying to restart the war by opening the gun ports. And there's probably something to that. Could be. Not just, you know, you explained it away, oh, but this is our culture, but also we also know. Yeah, I mean, and do we really need to discuss what that means yet again of, hey, we fought each other for so long, maybe we should just start talking?
Yeah.
Like, that's the quintessential
is.
message right there. You know, get us down, let's start talking, have that conversation, come to that place where we can, you know, be of an accord.
And I think that really ties with the one thing I kind of picked up this time, really in the Elisa storyline, but also with the Branmer stuff going on. But hear both sides or all of the sides of an issue and then make an informed decision.
That's a great call, because what we see happening with Elisa is that on full display of what should be happening between the humans and the Minbari.
Exactly.
The warrior caste.
And between the Minbari and the Minbari.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You asked Nia earlier to remind you of a thing. I think this is a good conversation. We talked about the changing in like the just Minbari culture specifically. Is that change in the newer generations because of the blending of human and Minbari souls? Like it was that human influence? No,
I don't think so. Nope. Mm-mm. And the reason is because, as you and I understand it, and you can correct me if my understanding is wrong. And, you know, as we've seen today, there are times, it doesn't happen often, but Brent is wrong from time to time. The blending of human and Minbari souls is not really a blending as much as Sinclair went into the past 1,000 years ago and created modern Minbari modern Minbari culture, and he has descendants within the Minbari culture. The blending of the souls has been happening for 1,000 years. It's not something new. Like, I know Lanier says, we've noticed we have been depleting, and all of a sudden we're seeing our souls being deposited into humanity. When you and I both know that may be how they interpreted that in the moment, but that's not what it is. Sinclair is Minbari.
Yeah.
Like I said, Sinclair is Valen, like you said. Like, that's what it is. So no, I don't think that's what it is, because this has actually been going on for over 1,000 years at this point. And if anything, it's that DNA has become so separated. But see, here's the thing: culture and values do not depend on DNA. It doesn't. Like, whether or not Sinclair's there or not does not really impact that too much at all, or at least it shouldn't. I would say it's a degradation of their value system. And what happens, Jeff, when you stop concerning yourself with others and you turn your internal focus on yourself? That's what it is to me, because I think that's what we decided is really happening with the Minbari as a whole. Is their downfall is that they're focused more on themselves than they are anything else,
and not themselves as instead of society, but themselves as this caste, that caste,
which is so antithetical to their culture, which is supposed to be all about serving, which is about other folks.
I'm with you, but I think it's really along the lines of what has happened. It's not the soul thing. It's when you somebody once said that real culture is the gap between what you say your culture is and what you tolerate happening. That's your actual culture. And so if we Minbari say, oh, the greatest, highest honor there is serving. Also, we're super corrupt. We're super self-important and basically awful. So the gap between what's tolerated and what is said is vast. And over time, it's just become more and more apparent to where the generation now is just like, yeah, it's what we're experiencing with like Gen Z now, is where they're just like, yeah, I reject everything that you guys are doing because you're full of it. Like,
I think that's there's a certain, I've noticed that, because my
Alpha.
Not just Gen Z, it's Gen Alpha, which our children are a part of, Jeff. And I'm seeing a lot of that, like, are you guys crazy?
What's wrong with you?
Like,
kids?
seriously, this
You
makes
kids don't
no
understand.
sense. Like, what's wrong with you old folks? Like, This makes no sense. And I could give so many examples. I'm not going to because I don't want to get into it. I do want to get to the second part of Nia's question here because I think it's great. Are Delenn and Naroon falling victim to that self-involvement? Jeff, I'm going to go with you on this one.
I think Naroon
certainly
is too.
I think like if you look at the Great Council is full of a bunch of boomers and Gen Xers, Delenn is the millennial coming in.
Yeah.
You know, and Naroon is he's kind of that Gen Xer a little bit who is kind of he's get off my lawn kind of a guy, but he's definitely about it. I do think that they are falling victim to that self-involvement. However, I don't think that either one of them are so far removed from their core of being about service of other people, because Naroon ultimately is still about service. Delenn, for all the faults we can give her, is ultimately still about service.
Willing to sacrifice herself
Lanier
for it.
Lanier falls victim to his own personal preferences about stuff and his own self-involvement. And he says, the Rangers are a calling of my heart. And we all went,
bullshit, dude. Come on.
No way, dude. No. And then Nia asks if I'm full on science over religion. I don't believe that those two things necessarily are at odds with each other. They're two sides of the same coin. And
and I'll dump it in.
The science of it,
and I'll put it fully in the religious bucket. Minbari believe that we are all manifestations of the universe. That's what our soul is. And if that's the case, human, Minbari, Pak'mara, Centauri, Narn, we're all manifestations of the universe. It's all technically the same soul.
Dang, look at you. You just sounded Buddhist there for a minute, man.
I hope, Brent, that you have reached a state of Zen because you're ranking the episode this week. You are. I am going to read off the top 5 that we have right now and see where you're going to put this. And it's important that you give this some thought because this is completely objectively correct and accurate. And number 5, Believers. And number 4, And the Sky Full of Stars, which we got a little flashback to this week. And number 3, The War Prayer, another DC Fontana original. Deathwalker in the number 2 spot, and Signs and Portents in the number 1 position. Brent, where is Legacies going to land?
I'm having a hard time with this one, Jeff, because if this was a show that was full of a lot of standalone episodes, this would be a great episode. You've got a missing body. We're going on a search for the missing body. We're meeting Naroon. You've got that whole kind of stuff. I do feel like this episode is one of those that really would have benefited from what we would think of a swap in the A and the B plot. Like, to me, the A plot of this episode was the whole thing with Elisa, the little girl. And Naroon was the other thing that happened on the station at the same time. I think if they would have, but honestly, I think when I think about it, the two seem to be given almost equal weight. Put more weight on the Naroon on that situation, and then let the Elisa thing serve the purpose of highlighting the struggle that they should actually be going with. But ultimately, I still find this episode in many ways inconsequential to the rest of the series.
It does.
Does that make sense? But I think it was a good episode on its own, but there's some good pieces to it, but it's not going very high for me on all of that. When I think about what are the important episodes of the season, you know what I mean? And so where I'm really looking at is when I think of episodes that are important to the overall story, episodes that are important to the season, and episodes just out of pure enjoyment. And I'm going, you know what? I really enjoyed Parliament of Dreams. Yeah. I loved Born to the Purple, right? Midnight on the Firing Line was a good episode straight out the gate. And then we have Eyes. And then we have Mind War. And then we have Infection and Soul Hunter. Those episodes, although elevated in our rankings, still not great. And I find this one right there at the divide between the two. Good episode. I actually liked watching it. Also, not that super consequential. And I like what these other episodes did a bit better. So this, Jeff, is going to be our number 11. Our new number 11. Midnight on the Firing Line is at 10. Eyes was 11, and it's going to fall right in between Midnight on the Firing Line and Eyes.
Of the 2 weeks of 11s on our hands.
Yeah. We're staying right there in the Midland part of the whole deal. So
nice. Well, Brent, that's going to tie a bow on Legacies for us. Next week, big announcement for everyone. There's been so much chatter here amongst our council chambers on our Instagram, our Blue Sky accounts, YouTube, everywhere. The big question, Brent, it's a two-parter coming up. A Voice in the Wilderness. How are we going to do it? What are we going to do?
We made a lot of waves the first time around with this one.
We sure did.
We
made waves one time,
and
we're going to do it again, probably making waves again this time.
Yeah, but not in the way that they think, or at least hopefully not in the way they think. Here's what we did. We came at the end of it last time, and we received so many. You should have done them together. Should have done them together. Should have done them together. We said back then, and I think we were correct then, and we're correct now, Jeff. Back then, for a first watch in a podcasting situation, do the first episode, pause, take accounts of where you are, and then do the next episode. For all other subsequent rewatches, everything else, we're doing them together. We're going to stay by that particular rule, Jeff. We are doing Voice in the Wilderness parts 1 and 2 together in the same episode next week, because that's really the way it should be done. In fact, Jeff, I actually remember what I said at the beginning of our second episode. We could have skipped the entire first episode. We got everything we needed from the previously.
Yep,
on
we did.
Babylon 5. You got everything you needed out of that one thing. So maybe we just start with Voice in the Wilderness part 2 and go from there. I don't know. No, we're going to do both episodes together next week. Voice in the Wilderness parts 1.
We are. Do you remember, Brent, what you predicted part 1 of A Voice in the Wilderness was going to be about?
I actually remember what I predicted both parts were going to be about, but I'll just go with part 1 because that's what's going to lead us into it. I said it's just going to have a lot of religious overtones. Somebody is preparing the way. John the Baptist is what this echoes to me as a voice. It's the voice of one in the wilderness, who makes way of the path of the Lord, right? Makes clear the straight the path of the Lord. So that's what it really said to me. I said it was going to be a Minbari episode with a prophet warning of a coming war is what I thought it would be.
I made a prediction that we're going to hear a handful more times throughout this series. A Voice in the Wilderness, Brent, is going to be the Great Egg. Call back to believers. Those people, the parents are going to get their comeuppance. Like it's all going to come to a head. The most important story in all of Babylon 5, the Great Egg, will continue in A Voice in the Wilderness. Right?
Oh, there you go. There you go. Paul over here is saying that give him an inch, they'll take a mile. We should actually delay Babylon Squared until we go to War Without End.
I don't hate the idea, though.
No. First of all, I'm not doing 3 episodes in a row. I love you guys. I'm not doing 3 episodes in a row. 2.
There's a way. Yeah. There is a thing here. It's a thing. And Texas Anla'Shok is so right. Yes. We really wanted the Great Egg to be a thing very badly.
I still do. I still do. I think, honestly, everything that we're seeing happen here is actually happening within.
Right. It's all contained.
Like you remember at the end of Men in Black when you zoom in and they zoom out and you realize that our whole galaxy is just like the ball on some cat's necklace or something like that, or somebody's playing marbles with it. I think at the end, that's everything that's happening here. You just zoom out is actually happening within the.
I want to propose something, Brent. I don't know. We need to carve out some time, but I mean, this is important. I think we can do it. We should make an animated feature telling the story of the Great Egg.
Yes, we should. My question is, who's going to go to animation school to learn how to physically do that?
It can't be that hard. Let's just do that. Also, we have so much time on our hands. We can do that with the other animated series that we've come up with in the last little while. Brent, I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. This has been a fun episode. Enjoyed hanging out with all of you. Thanks for being here with us. It means the world. If you haven't already, do the stuff, right? Subscribe, like, rate, all the stuff. The one piece of action that you can do, like everyone has their call to action, right? And the one I want to put out there for all of you that really makes a difference for us, means the world for us. It feels so good when we see this. Share the show, right? Share this show with people out there who either already love Babylon 5 or need to be introduced to this incredible show, just like Brent and I needed to do all those years ago. So with that, I am going to, Brent.
Hey, Jeff.
What's up?
Jeff, listen, so as we go out on this episode, for the record, I want to say you were absolutely WRONG wrong. Eat it.
Pretty bold statement. What was I wrong about?
Dude, John Vickery's performance here as Naroon was stellar.
There's nothing more annoying than when Brent is right.
Jeff, diplomacy.
Diplomacy, Brent?
Indeed.
I mean, we're not some deep space franchise. This station is about something.
Yeah.
Jeff, change the note right now. This is how we're saying it from now on.
Is that Suzanne? Suzanne, beautiful.
If you want to be of service, share the show.